Hey, everybody. Welcome to our fun monthly chat. We have Pamela here with us. My name is Courtney. I'm the owner of the Date Mom Collective, and we're really excited that you're joining us. Pamela is one of our amazing contributing writers, and the post we're going to be chatting about is the value of apologizing to your kids, even though some of us may say like they don't deserve that. But we are going to talk about that. But first, Pamela, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you?
Hi, I'm Pam. I am a mom of a 6-year-old. I have also been a nanny for about 15 years now. Just recently became a stay-at-home mom. So my nanny hat has been hung up and I am a stay-at-home mom now, which was the best thing for our family. So no qualms over that. And I am all about everything childcare. So I am excited to talk about this today.
Yay, thank you. So this post actually was from around mid-August.
Yeah.
So one of your recent ones. Awesome. So we will let you read a little excerpt from it. And then for everybody that's watching, now you could be washing clothes. Who knows why you listen to this? Watching or listening, we will link the original post down below. So feel free to read the whole thing. But Pam will just let you take a little excerpt and then we'll just have some fun chat about it.
All right. The other day I yelled at our 6-year-old because she was not listening to me and ended up getting paint all over my kitchen table. I was mad she ruined my table, frustrated she wasn't listening, and exhausted from cleaning up messes all day. So I snapped at her. She yelled back because, of course, I was angry and she matched my anger in defense. And I continued yelling. Our fight escalated quickly until we were both screaming and no one was listening. Afterwards, it didn't sit well with me. She should have listened to me and not opened the paint on the table, absolutely. But was my extreme response warranted or helpful? Absolutely not. So once we were all calmed down and peacefully coloring, I took the opportunity to apologize. I told her I was sorry for taking my frustrations out on her and yelling, and that I should have handled that differently. We discussed how we both could navigate that issue better in the future. Her listening and cleaning up the mess, me calmly walking her through it. I know a lot of people would never apologize to their children and feel like it undermines their authority. I, however, think it teaches our kids that we are humans. We all make mistakes and we can model grace and forgiveness.
Oh, yeah, that is hard. And sometimes, like, when you're arguing with a young one, like 6 years old, like, don't you end up feeling a little silly? Like, why am I arguing with this tiny human?
Completely ridiculous. Like, and then you find yourself going back and forth. And the second you're in a power struggle with like a kindergartner, you've lost already.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? But it escalates, and then the more she argues back, now I'm arguing with her because she's arguing. We are well past the point now, right? We're getting nowhere, and it's just a power struggle.
I know. Oh,
Absolutely.
I know. And I know I joked about it like when
Hmm.
we started, like,
Yeah.
like, I shouldn't have to apologize to my kids. But
Right.
but really, like, it is definitely that moment of like humility and
Yes.
long-term thinking, like, how do I want
Absolutely.
them to act? What type of
You know,
person do I want them to be?
absolutely. Like, I think so. I said earlier, I've been a nanny for over a decade. I think the number one takeaway I have from my years in childcare, you can preach till you're blue in the face. Kids do not listen to what you have to say if you do not model those same actions. So you can demand respect, but unless you show them respect back, they don't reciprocate. You can demand manners, but if you don't also use manners, they don't reciprocate. And I think
Yeah.
the same thing with apologies. Like, we're all humans. I don't know a single mom out there or dad or caregiver who doesn't make a mistake, right? So we
Yeah.
all make mistakes. Sometimes we have to like humble ourselves and apologize. I think if anything, it makes you more human to your child, which is good because apologies are like about repairing relationships, right? So if
Yeah.
you messed up, you then model and show them how you fix a relationship. That's something they're going to carry with them forever, like into their relationships, to their children. I mean, it goes, on forever. And I just think it's such a good skill to learn at a young age,
Yeah.
you know? And it's not
Oh,
easy. I think, I mean, I don't know about you, but the generation that raised us and even before, apologizing to your kids maybe wasn't as big of a deal, or it was thought, I'm the parent, so I shouldn't have to apologize. There was maybe a little bit of pride and ego in there, and it wasn't important. And I think what a missed opportunity to teach your kids how to show grace, be humble, make mistakes, but continue on, repair relationship. I mean, there's just so many like benefits from it. I could go on and on, but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and I know, like, I mean, sometimes the parents joked about it, but a lot of
yeah,
times they were serious.
yeah,
And I'm sure you heard it too, was like, well, you don't like do that. And it's like,
yes,
just do what I say, don't do
yes,
what I do.
exactly. No, absolutely. I heard that a million times, and I get it. I was raised in the 80s, so a little bit
Yep.
different. Um,
Yep.
the mindset was different then, but know better, you do better type of thing. I think that's kind of where I'm trying to parent from. We learn as we
Yes.
grow. So that's my mindset is always, how can I not only do better, but help my child to, do better than me even.
Right.
So
Well,
that
I
he
mean,
doesn't have to struggle.
yes. Well, I mean, even in my late 30s, I
Yeah.
still, like, even this past week, have had to, like, humble myself
Right.
to be like, apologize to a colleague at work. Like, hey, I was really stressed. Like, I feel like I hurt your feelings, but I don't know what I did. But can you tell me because I feel
Yeah.
like I upset you?
Right.
And so she was like, well, she was like, I know it wasn't your intent. So I kind of like was trying to let it go. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I need to know so I can be more aware
Yeah.
and I care about her and our personal relationship
Love that.
and professional. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I was like, please forgive me. I
I love
promise I will
that.
try to do better. I had to
Yeah.
apologize to my husband because I misheard what he said, and
Right.
that turned into an argument. Like, I'm
Yeah.
still constantly doing this
Totally.
as
Totally.
an adult.
I think, like, if you're doing life right, you're apologizing at some point to someone, right? Because, I mean, we have miscommunications. We have assumptions. Like a lot of the times, my husband and I will have fights, and it's almost always over an assumption. Like I assumed he was doing this, he assumed I was doing that. There was like some sort of miscommunication, and nothing stops a fight faster than an apology. Like even in the middle of a fight, you know what, let me humble myself and apologize, and boy, it changes the whole tone of the room,
It-
to one where you're
right.
working together instead of like, combative.
So I'm like, yeah.
Important
And
lesson.
that's, yes. And those are with like other like
Yeah,
grown adults that
yeah,
have like emotional capacity and
yes,
social
the
capacity that
process, yeah,
like 6 year
totally,
old doesn't have. So,
absolutely.
and like we've been really big, like now that we have a teenager, like it's been even more important,
Mhm.
like pay attention to what people do,
Yes,
not what they say. So
yes.
I'm like, as a parent, like if
Hmm.
I'm saying that, but then I'm
Not
modeling
doing
all the wrong things,
so
I'm
true.
like, yeah.
Right, it's
So
hard, it's hard. So our daughter actually has ADHD, which comes with its own set of baggage. Um, and we are helping her learn to navigate that. And one of the byproducts that can sometimes happen with ADHD is um, self-esteem issues, because you're constantly hearing what you're doing wrong, especially as a 6-year-old. You know,
yeah,
uh, she's now entered real school, which comes with having to sit still, which is not really a good quality for an ADHD. Having
right.
focus. So all day long, she's getting a lot of negative feedback. So I have really tried to flip the script at home and give positive. And when I mess up or get angry, find myself angered by something she's done, which can happen often because the impulse control is not there.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
I am really trying to, humble myself and show her, like, look, I made a mistake. Let's work through this because I don't want to be another hit to her self-esteem. Like to me, that is really important. So it's the framework that I look at everything that I'm doing with her. So, I think but it doesn't matter that she is ADHD. I think this is good for all kids, to teach your children that you can be humble, make mistakes, and then come back from it. It's something they'll take
Yeah.
into their future as well. So I think it's so.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think like I mean, and I'm
Yeah.
sure other people in my life could attest, like
Yes.
learning humility and
Hmm.
allowing grace for myself and to others has
Yes.
been a very long path for me.
Hmm.
Patience also, I feel like I still
Yeah.
struggle with.
No.
but
It.
but maybe if I had like if that had been ingrained in me
Mhm.
like more from the beginning, like it's okay to make mistakes. How do
Yes.
we fix them, make it
Yes.
right, and move forward?
Right. It would have
I
been an
would
easy
have
path,
yes.
maybe. Yeah. No, I absolutely get it. I think I struggle with that sometimes too. The need for perfection a little
Yep.
bit, trying to, apologizing to yourself too. Like it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to make a mistake sometimes. Grace is like such a big
Whew.
important lesson, So I think it's a really important topic.
I
Too.
agree, and I really felt like one good thing that came out of the pandemic was
Hmm.
like I think we all learned to give ourselves a lot of grace and give everybody else a lot more grace. Where it's like, yeah,
Totally agree.
okay, we
Yeah.
can't control everything. It's
Right,
fine.
right, and it, like, kind of forced the whole world to become patient, right? Because we all had to stop and do nothing for a while,
Yeah,
which, like, sucked in the moment, but the silver lining to it is that we did, like, maybe get some takeaways from it, which was patience. You
yeah.
have no choice. You had no choice.
I know.
So true, so
I'm like,
true.
okay, I still have to learn this
Right,
again. Okay.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. This is gonna be a
Oh,
lesson we have to take on for, the rest of our life, probably.
right. Yes. So
I love it.
your daughter, because
Mhm.
I've met her, she's amazing. Um, even though I'm sure she drives you crazy, mine has driven
Yes.
me crazy her
Right,
entire life, but I still love
right.
her. Yeah. So since you started taking that
Mhm.
approach, have you
Yes.
noticed any difference with her?
Yes, absolutely. So, funny enough, this is her first year, of new, like, official school. But she was in preschool before, but let's be real, it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It was not
Right.
a full, like, academic load. She's now
Yes.
in all-day school, and she was really struggling the first month because it was just too much for her. She's now catching up, but it was the first time being away, the first time being like having to adhere to strict boundaries, like, you have to sit and
Yeah.
eat and do your work, whatnot. And she was coming home every day defeated and was getting up every day not wanting to go. And she was getting a lot of negative feedback at school, which I understood. Like the teachers are doing their job, but also it was a lot for her. So we had a meeting with them, and we also flipped the script on how we reacted here at home. Like instead of when we would get an email that she was unable to complete her work and was bouncing off the walls, instead of coming down really hard on her like we were in the beginning, I will say we were not maybe making the right decisions at first. You get an email from a teacher and you're like, I'm taking away all the toys. You never get
Right.
to watch a screen again. Like
Yep.
that's where you go, right? So we're gonna dial that back and realize, one, her misbehavior was her communicating that she was overwhelmed. Um, and two, the negative feedback at school and then coming home to more negative feedback was not helpful. So instead, we got on board with the teachers and all decided instead of negative punishments, threats, warnings, we were going to flip it to positive reinforcements. And it's made a world of difference. And when she makes a mistake, guess what? She apologizes.
Oh,
Exactly. And like today, she was having a hard time. She wasn't able to get her math unit finished, and the teacher actually told me, she's going to be bringing some math homework home because she wasn't able to finish it. No problem. First thing she said to me was, I couldn't keep my body still today. I'm sorry, but I'm going to work on it tonight, which is like huge for her. Like that she was able
yeah.
to even articulate that was really big. So,
Yes.
um, and
Ah,
I think it's helped that we've modeled like we aren't perfect, but when we make a mistake, we got to find a way to fix it. So, okay, you made a mistake. You were not able to sit still and do your math work. So now you have to come home and fix that by doing homework tonight. You weren't supposed to have homework. Now you have homework. And
yeah.
she didn't love it, but she did it. And like she learned the natural consequences instead of us like harping on her, demanding an
Yeah.
apology. So much of the time, I think, and I've been guilty of this too. We like force our kids to say sorry. Like, you hit so and so, say sorry. You did this to me, say sorry. How many times is that a genuine apology? It's not. A lot
Right.
of times it's like a forced apology. So I think what's better is modeling how you should apologize, and it becomes more intrinsic for them, like then they're going
Yeah.
to hopefully, and you might have to, push them along a little, but they're going to hopefully learn when to apologize for themselves. It's just such a good.
Yeah. Yes. Ah, I'm so glad that you chose this post.
Yeah,
'Cause
I know.
yeah.
I I'm sorry, I'm long-winded, I know, but, like, I could talk about this
Yeah.
stuff forever. I just find it so fascinating, um, what you pour into your kids then comes back to you, in such a cool way. Also in a bad way too, because
I
if
know.
I also, like, when we're arguing, I see myself reflected, and I'm like, "Where did you get this attitude? Oh, crap, it's me."
Oh,
But it's
yes,
such a
I was gonna
cool thing,
say,
right?
one of oh, man, like, a good friend of mine that's, like, older than I am, so she now
Mhm.
has, like, grandchildren that
Yeah,
are teenagers and in college, so
right.
she's, like, been through all of it, but,
Mhm.
like, when Addie was around, like, 6, 7, and we would just, like, come to blows, and, I'd be like, "Diane, and she did this, all that," and she'd just look at me, and then she'd be like, you're just arguing with yourself, right?" And I'm like, "I don't like you very
I wanna hear
much."
it. No, my husband says the same thing. He's like, "How does it feel arguing with a little mini version of yourself?" And I can't even argue with that because it's true. Like, the stuff she says, like, it's just amazing. I'll hear my own words coming out of her mouth, and I'm like, "Oh, no."
Yes, and I can't tell you how many times I have called my mother or my dad or my stepmom to,
Yeah.
like, complain about something, and, like, oh, and then, and then they're like, "Oh,
Uh,
well, that what that reminds me of," and then it's either some story about me or one of my siblings, and they're like, "Yeah, if you were calling for sympathy, you're not gonna
you're
get it
not
from
gonna
us,"
get
and I'm like,
here.
"That's what I wanted," and they were like, "Nope." They were like, "Guess it all comes back around. Have
Right.
fun." I'm like,
So true. Circle of life. So
they're
true.
like, "Yeah, we just get to be the grandparents now. Have fun
Right?
with that."
Right?
I'm like,
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. It's so
"Oh,
funny. It's definitely have changed.
oh, I know."
I love it.
Oh, man. So,
No
aw.
doubt.
Well, yes. Well, this was so fun.
Yeah.
I would definitely say anybody that's watching or listening, make sure to comment with any
Please.
funny stories you might have, or
Yeah,
let us know if you apologize to your kids or if you
exactly.
consider.
Tell me the last thing you apologize for.
Right. Right. That would be awesome.
Right?
Oh, but yes. But any final thoughts related to this post that you want to leave everybody with?
I would say my one final thought would be, let yourself apologize to someone this week over something, whether it's an adult, a coworker, a kid. Find something that's been bothering you and apologize. I know it takes a little bit of ego, a little shot to your ego, a little bit of pride, but do it because it works wonders.
Yes, that is a wonderful, wonderful
Yes,
challenge.
yes,
Aw. Oh my goodness. You're gonna have to sign up for another one
yes,
of these
absolutely. I
host chats.
will. I
This
will. We'll chat again.
this is awesome. But yes, thank you for everyone that joined us. Hopefully you enjoyed it or took something from it. And we will definitely make sure to have Pam back again. And yeah, stay tuned for next month.
Bye.